G'day! Welcome to session 56 of my Oxygen Not Included playthrough. Okay, so not too much in the way of comments on the previous one for things I should be addressing. Probably the only one of note was there was another suggestion for the plumbing here. I think. I'm even, like, this part here I'm even umming and ahhing about. Again, the suggestion was that if I put a bridge for oxygen here to make this prioritize going this direction. But, I mean, that one's got a bridge sitting there, and at the moment they are still hitting a 50-50 split anyway. So I don't know if that would actually prioritize oxygen going this way. I certainly would like oxygen to be prioritized this way. That was something I was thinking about since I last played. I could see everyone just standing around doing nothing at the moment. Because this is the thing that I think is the only thing that is really a problem with my access to oxygen at the moment. Like, everyone else seems to sort of be okay in some capacity. Like, that they are... there's not a constant problem of something missing out on oxygen, except for that. Someone did also point out that this is currently blocked because that's blocked. Yeah, that's fine. That's I think that's, I'm not even sure that's operating at the moment. So certainly not a big deal there. There's definitely more oxygen going through here than there was. I can't imagine that this will ever reach a point where it does backlog because it is such a frequently used exterior section to the habitat. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's leave it for now. Small bladder, increased bladder, and that I assume they need to go to the toilet more, not so much that their bladder is bigger. Germ resistant, increased agriculture, just needs to go to the toilet more often. But has not 80% run speed. Now after Camille, that's almost a huge appeal there. Marie? It's an ugly crier though. Just take some plastic. Okay, and also metal ore is what I should be feeding these guys. So currently I'm just feeding them sedimentary rock. Let's have a look at the metals we've got. Or is this just a section 4 hatchling? Hatch. Nothing about that is directly pointing at ore. There we go, there's our, like, smooth hatchlings and stone hatchlings, but the problem is I don't feel like I've got much in the way of ores. Let's have a look. $17 ton of iron ore. Some iron ore in there then. See how it does. Alright. So apart from that, we're really just out on our own on this one. Now let's try and remember what we were checking out. I think there was a bit of exploring going on. part of it was over here. We'll just delve deeper down into this black. So once I guess we get to the bottom of that, we will dig across to about there. The big milestone of this episode, is that we are becoming very much a chance to hit that 365. There's a lot of liquid that's slowly getting down into this oil that I still have done absolutely nothing with. Build a ladder into it though. Let's declare that a victory. Just dig out all of that row. Now there was another spot we were doing our exploring. That was along here, I believe. That's right, we got into this thing. Which proved to be worth nothing. Now we might actually continue this exploring over here to get into this section as opposed to down here, because to get to here you have to go across here like all this way and go through that section, whereas you can come this way and you can just get down to here and you're there. So definitely we'll dig this way. So let's put a ladder. It's gonna get stuck by that, isn't it? I can't get rid of that, so let's cancel those. Would I hit deconstruct? Cancel everything then. Okay. Let's just dig on an angle down here. You can see everyone's excited to get on this dig job. They're flying through this. So I'll drop down there, that can come back up. Yeah, that can get rid of that anyway. Just sort of move across here. And we'll dig straight down. Oh, it looks like that's the edge of the world there too. I mean, that's such a destruction of so many different biomes. Done through there. Let's instead do a ladder straight down from there to here. And then we'll dig across this way. And then straight down here. Oh, goodness, my straight line drawing isn't there today. Now, our goal here is 80% exploration. And you can see that we've got this part up here, and I'd almost write that off as the part that's going to be unlikely. I think the last time we checked, we're at 70% exploration. Let's see if we can find... What are we doing with that? We're still moving along, slowly, slowly. That's the big one. You can see how close we've gotten to that. There. So in the last episode, we've gained another 5% on that. So hopefully in this episode, we can get that last 5%. Is just going to be this corner. this corner. A lot of liquid coming down here now. It's funny that the liquids won't merge at all. They'll just sort of sit on top of each other. Like, I can't imagine that polluted water and salt water would merrily sit divided in a puddle. Is there more I can draw to this? I suppose we can just sort of... sort of ask them to head down that way a little bit. They seem to be really excited at the prospect of doing that. If we look at skills for Meow, nothing really that sort of pops out as what we'd... Athletics, we want. Start to sort of help her out a little bit. Got a green guy in there. I think we've looked at him before, so he's a Sage Hatch. Does feel like eventually these hatches are going to take over the world. Does seem like she's moving a little bit better there. So her athletics is currently 0%. 0% run speed. So we'll just have to keep an eye on, see how that does. Her melting point. Just if you're ever curious what point you'd have to get it to melt a human being. Now you know. Don't worry, Camille, we're not there yet. Alright, so... power. That guy's complaining that he's got no power. That's an easy fix. In fact, it was already there, we just had to make the join. That power is still the one that's just not being used for anything else, just the functionality of moving people into this room. That's fine. Realize that I could possibly look at going to solar panels now, which would be at least a renewable resource. But from what I've seen here, I mean, that's just going to be getting constantly pelted with asteroids. But does that mean that I can actually put a solar panel, say, like somewhere in here? Like in these spots that are just sort of like vacuums. Does that count? Is that a acceptable point for that to be hitting sunlight? Or does it actually have to be on top of everything else? First question. Alright, so I can see what Turner's been down here. So what have you been up to, Turner? Not a lot of work going on that one. I feel like the majority of people who are bored are working on the other side. Nope, they're not there either. What are you all up to? Sort of your chores? Day to day? I'll allow it. That water's getting too high too. Don't really feel like there's too much I can do about that. Put that in as a request. Let's see if anyone can figure out how to build that. If they have to come in from underneath or if they actually will just go into the water to do it. I actually really like these aqua rooms over here. Imagine that they'd be some of the like cooler rooms to sleep in, just having a huge body of water sitting under you that you've even got an airflow tile so you can just sort of hear the water. Imagine that would be one of the more peaceful bedrooms. Worst bedroom? Who's got the hottest bedroom? 34. Or old Stinky. Stinky's got the worst bedroom. Maybe I should try and insulate that a little bit. Interestingly, what's the insulation rate below these 2 points? So that's 36. It's 35 in there, and it's still 35 out here. So it's not really doing much. But I also do need carbon dioxide getting down here because this is my system to sort of try and clean it up. Can anyone solve this mystery? How you do that? Too high? Okay, let's just make sure that that ceiling collapse isn't gonna be a problem for anyone. No. So these are using granite. It's alright. I think it's the thing we've got most of. Doesn't matter if they run back and forth. It's borderline busy work at this point. Okay, so he's got through that section, so let's go... And we can deconstruct. We've got to make sure we only say buildings. In fact, in those ones, generally I should click on them and then hit deconstruct. We also don't need those top... Don't need the top ones of those two. Based on what that one just successfully did. You can see how, like, the fact that all 5 of these are already gone today, it's like, well, how is anyone gonna... Although, is that suggesting that there's actually oxygen in here? It's got some in there. That's good. These ones, so they're hitting their full 200. I guess it's good because it means that the suit holder actually holds the oxygen too. So these can continue to build that even though something's not there all day. And they are building. So I'm certain that that's looking better than it was. So I think that even without making another adjustment to the oxygen system, it's getting there. Alright, so we almost made it. We can select this guy, deconstruct them, and we've got to get to that guy, so we will go 2, and then what we can do is say one by one work our way across. That'll reduce our water level. Didn't really want to do this, because it now means that this water sits lower than this, so this section of water is essentially untouchable. Oh, suddenly changed your mind. Okay, I don't think we're going to take you, Gossman. You've got a lot of issues there, buddy. Exit is. I just noticed it's been like I used to have nymphs flying all over the place, and I guess they've all since died. Must be a lot of them. Okay, so we have temperature issues in here for these guys. What do we need to be between? The sand? 30. Okay, so let's get a it's gonna be food as a farm tile. A farm tile in here. Let's just go that tile. Let's uproot him. Let's put some priority on this too, see if anyone's still awake to do this. We might just wait here overnight just to make sure this gets done. Good morning, Rowan. Can't stress this enough. Come out and have a look at this thing. No, Ellie's on it. Thank you, Ellie. Okay, now before you go anywhere, Ellie. Okay, so hopefully what we will see here is those start to grow again, because this guy's only got to just push that air down a degree for them to be okay. I think. Hopefully they should be okay now. This guy's at least not complaining. These guys still are. They're 32. Well, these guys are feeling cramped because there's too many of these. He's looking pretty old. Not the hydrogen, the weird thing walking around in front of it. Not that one. Age 0. Good baby one. How many could I keep in there? It's off that guy. Declaring war on that guy feels a little bit more aggressive than what's about to take place here. We're just culling numbers. Hey, how do you feel less cramped, guys? That's better. Yes, now, that's it. I've got to get back to the refinery and location of the refinery. So we're going to deconstruct that guy. We're going to put a new one. Let's go here. So let's make a ladder that goes straight there. Let's make a fire pole that goes straight down. So we're also going to have to build like a water tank for him. Which we will do. Here, I'd say. Careful the order of operation to do here, guys, because we don't want to lock you in. Maybe let's cancel those two, just so that any part of your building won't involve you getting trapped in there. What are we doing this way? Oh, still a work in progress. Unreachable? Is something wrong there? In terms of, like, this isn't something that I'm expecting to change at all, but more just like a thought about the way that I've built. There's a lot of work that takes place out here in this section. Like, to the extent that I think I almost forget that parts like this and this are actually external to the base, not internal to it. But in terms of what I have inside my base, or how big my base is versus how much of it is outside, is this sort of, what do we think of the size, and I guess either games that you've played previously, is this about the size of a sort of like the inside part that you would have, or would you have it bigger, smaller? Is there stuff like this that you would also just sort of leave outside? Is there, in terms of economy of, so look at that, those are full. Economy of air. Is this a more efficient way for air to be used? That there's like less going on inside, or does it not really matter? Like if you just continue to expand out, is it just things like polluted oxygen that you're attempting to keep out rather than anything else? I want to have a look at this because this is, look at that. Look at this whole thing. To the extent that this is now a problem that nothing can get through. We've become too efficient. Alright. What does that mean? What do we need to do? We need more, we need someone to come in and start breathing a bit more. That's now, I guess, genuinely going to be a power problem. Am I completely pressurized with oxygen? What are you two doing? I see you there. So that's just there hitting these. I don't think that I need to have another vent anywhere. The vent there. There's a vent there. Hmm. Do I just set up a vent on the external here to just sort of like allow air to continue to move? New problem to have. Talk to me, Camille. That's what we want to see. Nice work. Alright. Question for the end of the episode then. What do we do for that? I think one thing will be just bringing in someone to breathe more oxygen. I wonder if there should be some sort of block off down here to make people wear a mask when dealing in this carbon dioxide heavy area. Also, the other thing, should I be unticking everything else? Should I just leave this to iron ore for these guys? Or is this suggesting that the other guys aren't even going to eat it? That the hatchlings and that won't even eat the iron ore if that's all they've got as an option. Should I untick the sedimentary rock? Yeah, just to force them into eating it, or...? Back down to over here. Oh, they did progress down one. So it's not that that's just flat out blocked. It's good. Now stumped what to do with all that oxygen. Okay. It was a refinement, metal refinery. Up there. Let's a few more tiles in here. Let's dig out those three. Now, who did these ladders or what's happened there that I can't get back through there? I imagine anything froze. But we will call this evening as the final one. So the big question is, what should I do with my oxygen? Should I just... Is it too valuable to just sort of like shoot it out beyond the realm of one of my airlocks? Obviously don't just blast into space, because it can still fill some of these areas that just have polluted oxygen and things, but... Yeah, what should I do with it? Alright. Any other questions or comments, feel free to chuck them below. Until next time, catch you later. See ya.